Hi guys, welcome to I don't know how to draw. Today the theme will be, how do I know when my art is finished? How do I know that I have done enough? And that's a pretty delicate theme for many artists because I think that's I would say constant thing that really bother artists worldwide, but it's way simpler in my opinion. I don't know if it's because I've been doing that for a while now, but I've been talking to few people online and few artists actually, and they were telling me how it's hard for them to understand when it's done. And so sometimes they just spend like days, maybe 1 week, just one artwork instead of going on and starting a new project. And here I'll be sharing with you a little bit of my vision about that. I hope I can help you somehow. It's this kind of video I'll call Drawcazt or Art Talk. I haven't decided yet. You will notice by the title, the one I've picked. But yeah, so I like to start with the fact that some artists are better than what they show off in the illustration because of the over detailing. You know, it's hard to finish your work sometimes, but as soon as you feel that way, maybe you are already done. And that's the thing. And maybe living and getting back to it. I mean, like by the 10th hour of work, your eyes will be like addicted to the same things, making you negligent on another things that are important to the composition of it. And it's hard to notice like if there's something wrong, if there's something you should change, if you like several hours looking up for the same canvas and not having a self benchmark because we normally don't have it. So yeah, something that might be good too if you are really confused on where to go is asking for a lady's opinion. Ladies are really important because they see our art, they see our illustration, so their opinion is kind of pure, you know, and making questions like what caught your attention more in my illustration, what took your attention, and this person is going to respond to you, and by the answer you can understand, okay, I'm focusing too much in this segment, or no, I'm not focusing in the segment because. So it's good to give you like a guidance, I'd say. And a really good tip that I've noted here is comparing your drawing. I'm considering you're making like a render drawing kind of thing that is going to fit better in this example, which is comparing with a similar saturation and lightning photo. That can be a good idea. Like that's why defining the darkest color and the brightest of the painting is so important. It gives us a floor value and a ceiling value that doesn't simplify the process like a lot. Trust me, a lot. And like I personally believe that overdoing a thing, especially artwork, especially traditional artwork, is way worse than underdoing something. Because like life, like time, it's way easy to go forward and going back, taking a step back, you know. So if you constantly feel like you don't know when to stop, maybe that's a sign that you're already done. No, otherwise the things I have mentioned before can be a good option for you. But if you like, if this state of mind is happening like every time you draw, just like look at yourself, give it up a time. As I have mentioned, if it does not work, ask for someone's opinion. If it doesn't work, compare with a realism photo with the same saturation, lighting, composition, or not like the same, like not exactly, but a similar aspect to a drawing, because the art is basically based on realism, cartoon, like manga, Donald Duck, Adventure Time, Rick and Morty. All these shows are based on realism, even though it doesn't look like. Stylizing comes from something original, you know? It's like making a caricature of someone you see in the streets. And I'll say that's my biggest advice for these artists who are confused with their workflow, is practicing realism. Honestly, I would like put practicing realism to the top, like the king of the advices ever, because practicing realism is always the key for self-development in art. Like almost everything comes from the realism, as I mentioned. If we get used to the real, how the real usually looks like, we can measure how realistic is a drawing and how we want it to be. If you want it to be like more cartoonish, more realistic, and not only about the art style itself, but also about the coloring, the lighting, and that affects the whole, like, okay, am I finished, you know? So comparing yourself to realism works helps you, because what is after realism, you know? So that's a good basement, that's a good foundation, I'd say. That's the right word, actually, for you. Yeah. It helps us to understand if it's finished. It helps us to understand what is the finish line we are after in the illustration, even not knowing what it will look like. That's the point. I think I made myself clear right now. So having a floor and a ceiling when it comes to composition, when it comes to lighting, when it comes to everything in the art comes from it. So like my biggest advice is that always have a reference next to you. Ref up. Don't be stubborn. You know, you're not worse because you're using reference, guys. For God's sake, even Mona Lisa was done with a reference, and it's a art classic. Van Gogh has made several great artworks using reference, so you are not under or above anyone because they're using reference. Don't feel like that. And if someone told you that it's not like ideal using reference because you're supposed to have a really good can I say memory on the things you see throughout your day, don't trust that person. Probably that person don't draw too much, I mean the frequency very often, and probably that person has not developed enough. So be careful with the people you're listening to. Even me, if you're listening to me right now, think to yourself, okay, is this guy doing an artwork that I consider okay? So yeah, or not. So it really going to depend. And yeah, it was just like a conversation while I put this painting on mine, and that's it. It was not like or talk about this drawing, this painting specifically. It was more a overall theme that I have noticed many artists just struggle with. So thanks for watching, and I see you in the next video, and hope you like the conversation because I enjoyed a lot. Bye bye.